Hello everyone and welcome to our new episode of the Expat Career and Lifestyle podcast. This is Dominika Miernik, your host, and today I have a fantastic guest with me, Oliver James. He's from the UK but currently living in Brussels, Belgium. He is a hypnotist and the founder of Boost Hypnosis, a professional online hypnosis service online, allowing expats and motivated professionals and athletes to get freedom from unwanted habits and behavior, such as smoking, anxiety, fears, and mental blocks. So today with Oliver, we are going to speak about his international experience and how he started his service and how you can use hypnosis to overcome any challenges in your life and in your expat experience. So hello, Oliver, and welcome to the show.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome, you're welcome. So it's a very interesting subject. So please tell us more about you, how your international journey started. Why did you move to Brussels? So tell us more about you.
Sure. So my initial experience with abroad, as we would say, it began very, very young as a child. I didn't go abroad until I was about 14. I'd never been anywhere. And when I went abroad, it was to France. And France being only a couple of hours from the UK with the Channel Tunnel and the ferry, I was kind of fascinated by just the idea that just a few hours away, everything was so different. Because in the UK, as many of you may know, everything's a little bit different. The money's different. We drive on different side of the roads, different languages, different culture, different way of doing things. And so that sparked the initial curiosity. And I went on to study foreign languages, in fact, at university. Nothing to do with hypnosis. And in studying foreign languages, I studied French, strangely enough. And in studying French, I had the opportunity to go abroad. And my first experience of living abroad was as part of an exchange program, being a student abroad. And many people do these experiences. And this was a big, big challenge because I'd never done it before. I'd never done something so different before. And it was real experience. It was the first taste. After that was over, I then graduated and started working. Not in hypnosis initially. And over time, I kind of was thinking, I'd like to go abroad again. I want more of that experience. I had improved my languages from being abroad, but I hadn't improved them to the level that I wanted to. And languages was what I was studying, so it was important to me. I'd put so much effort into it. So I really wanted to really understand and to work in the language properly and to be able to really have freedom to work in it.
Yeah, so what would you say was your biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge? The biggest challenge was actually starting my first job abroad. And I thought I had quite a good level of French. However, I hadn't really tested it over the telephone. And clients would call up and I'd be completely thrown by what they were asking. It would throw me off guard. And it was very unnerving to beginning with because it kind of took out the carpet under your feet. It really sort of exposed your weak points. And for a while I thought, well, how am I gonna do this? I feel stupid, I don't feel like I can succeed like this because I don't feel like I'm the same person. And in some ways when we speak another language, we're not always the same person. We can't express ourselves in the same way. However, how I overcame it was to simply just think to myself, well, this is normal, in fact. because nobody can become fluent overnight. So it's a process of practice. And sure enough, over time, it became easier. It became really, really easy. And it just clicked. It became automatic. And I would say that feeling of being uncomfortable is like a sign to you that you are pushing your limits. And you can have two choices. You can either say to yourself, okay, well, I'm just going to give up. Or you can do something about it, and you can decide to embrace it and see it. Okay, this is a sign that I'm growing, that I'm developing, that I'm pushing myself into a new area, and I can learn from it. And that's really something which I've kept with me as a sign that, well, when something feels a bit uncomfortable, okay, it may not feel very nice, but it can also be seen as a sign that you're growing, you're developing in a new way.
Yeah, like you are learning something new, and especially like with languages. I remember when I was studying at the beginning Italian, I was also like scared to speak with people, and also even like going to the shop and asking for simple things. I thought that people will laugh at me. So I had this, but then like studying and overcoming this belief or being scared. It took a little bit of time, but it's practice. It's like a learning process. So like how did you started your adventure with hypnosis? Because you, as you said, you were studying languages. So how this passion or this idea was born for you?
Yeah, well, it all started, I never intended to become a hypnotist. It wasn't something which I aspired to become from a young age or anything like that. I don't think it's what anyone aspires to be to begin with, because it has this sort of a lot of mystery around it. It's often shrouded in this mystery, and it kind of happened by accident. I was as a teenager, as a bit of a geek, and I found a book, a PDF on all kinds of random knowledge, from how to use Ouija boards to mind reading, magic, all this kind of strange stuff, uncommon knowledge. And they had a section on hypnosis. And I thought, this is interesting. Back then I thought the hypnosis was just some kind of act, some kind of trick, something that people did just for show, just for fun, I didn't think it was real. But in reading the book, it came to me that, well, it wasn't just magic. It wasn't just a trick. That this was actually a psychological process that people can go through and experience. And so I then went ahead and tried out what they suggested in the book with a friend. By complete amazement, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the steps, and he was almost he looked unconscious. Mm-hmm. He looked completely, he looked like he'd just fallen asleep in his chair. It really cannot be this simple. It's just playing with me. Then he started to test it a bit further with different experiences, with different phenomena. And he would start explaining how he was feeling. And I could just tell, knowing him, that this was not being faked. This was, there was something to this. And I was fascinated by this. I was absolutely fascinated by the topic. This is amazing. This is such a powerful tool that can create really, really profound effects, right from full-on hallucinations. Mm-hmm. If we look at an entertainment perspective, people can see things which aren't even there. And how I got into it was very much through more about impromptu performance and entertainment. And then I played with it for a number of years, and I kind of put it on the shelf. I thought, well, this is nice. It's a party trick. It's a bit of magic, a bit of fun. And I kind of left it there. However, that initial part of curiosity never really left me. It just stayed with me. I just kept diving into it. I kept going, reading about it, trying out other stuff. And after a while, I started to get good at it. Without having done any formal training, I just sort of taught myself, read some things, and I started to get good at it. I thought, maybe I can do something with this. And then I started to learn about how it can be used for change. And I then took some official training and certifications with some of the world's best hypnotists. And I then began to start helping people using hypnosis, because the entertainment side is fun, but it really is just a very, very small preview of its full potential to help people as a tool. And it's something which a lot of people can benefit from. So I got into it really by pure accident, and it's become something which I love, which I'm very, very passionate about. I can talk about this stuff for ages. So if I talk too long, you have to interrupt me.
Yeah, so that's a good sign, because because you are like really passionate about what you are doing. So this is your passion. So how can we use, or how can we like overcome, for example, stress or anxiety or any fears that we have, especially now in this challenging times that we are living, full of unknown, and people also being scared, people being unable to travel, or even like losing work and businesses. How can we use hypnosis to overcome those stress or those fears that we can have?
Yeah. So there are a lot of tools which we can use within hypnosis, and hypnosis is that it's a tool. And for example, taking an example of a fear, maybe an irrational fear that we might have, or we can develop. You can develop a fear of anything. I've seen people that have had fears of buttons, fears of wearing a particular kind of clothing, right up to common fears such as heights, dogs, water, flying. All these things, these irrational fears, can occur at any point in our life, not just when we're young. What we're able to do in hypnosis with fears is we're able to go and change how that fear has been encoded in the brain. So we will strip away any emotion from it, and we're able to allow it to do something different, allow it to do something more useful for that person. Because behind every kind of behavior, we say that there's a positive intention. It's that it's either trying to protect you or trying to give you some kind of pleasure. So in the case of a fear, often or not, it is trying to protect you. It is your body's way of saying, watch out, stay safe. But sometimes it's not a perfect system, so it can misfire, it can mismatch. And we're able to change that in hypnosis, so it does something a bit more useful for you. And we're able to do that at an unconscious level, because if we try and do it consciously, it's like you have a filter, and we're able to change the way we see reality, the way we perceive reality in hypnosis. In terms of things like anxiety and future-based things, such as maybe, especially right now, people may start to feel scared about going outside or interacting with others. We're also able to change the way the brain has encoded these future events. It can run them backwards, which completely changes how they're encoded. We can use imagery. Imagery is really, really powerful. And hypnosis is a way of really enhancing imagery. And imagery is used by professional athletes to help them reach goals, to help them reach particular objectives that they have. And so hypnosis is a way of enhancing and amplifying all of this. As well as that, a lot of the time in hypnosis, not all the time, there is relaxation associated with it. We are able to create profound states of relaxation. People can feel more relaxed than they've ever felt in their life just through a short 15-minute session of hypnosis, or sometimes longer, but they can really benefit from this profound sense of learning to relax. And I see hypnosis as a skill. It is something which we develop as well, because it's based on focus. If we're able to train our focus, we're able to also train our minds. So it can be used in a wide variety of ways. But I would also say that it's not a one-size-fits-all tool for everything. We also have to look at what's going on outside of that. And people have certain needs and certain emotional needs which need to be met. Otherwise, stress and anxiety can begin to creep in, and they can begin to narrow our thinking, narrow our options. So it's important to feel safe, being in an environment which is safe for you, getting it the right kind of attention, and feeling like you have some kind of control over your life. You're not just looking at external circumstances, but looking at what are the things in your life that you can control. Being connected to people, being connected to other communities, and feeling a sense of status, as well as having privacy and feeling like you have a direction, some kind of achievement, meaning and purpose. All of those things can help you keep stress and anxiety at bay. It's not to say that you're going to completely resist them. They're part of life. But if you allow yourself to really take control of your life and not just let things happen to you, then you will find that your stress levels will go down. Some people will feel more stressed than others. It's completely natural. But there are ways of dealing with it. There are ways of overcoming certain things. So people can sometimes feel stuck, and they can feel like, well, this is me, this is how I am. And you don't have to go with that. You don't have to be stuck with something. So you can change.
Yeah. So you are like doing your services hypnosis online. So how does it work? Is it like, because it's different like from doing it face to face? So what is like, is this the same? Are the benefits the same?
Yeah.
How does it work?
Well, it's actually, many people imagine it's different. It's actually not very different at all, because physical touch hypnosis is absolutely not necessary. And many people prefer not to be touched by strangers. So the great advantage of doing it online is that the person gets to experience those changes in a place where they are comfortable, in a place where they are safe. And it also is a place where they are vulnerable as well, which they are in their own environment and they're protected, which means that we can then test out the changes in a real setting, rather than in a therapy room, which is not at all a natural setting for them. So that's one of the big advantages of doing it online. And it works just like this, just like a video call right now, where we see each other and we interact. There's some discussion and there's some hypnosis parts to it. But it's many people imagine it's just, oh, close your eyes and hope for the best. And it's not at all like that. It's much more interactive. I have people doing things, using their body, using their mind, getting everything involved throughout the session. And the other advantage, of course, is you have to travel to an office or sit in traffic, work out where it is and how to get there, all this kind of thing, which takes out time. And if you're living a busy professional life, or you've just got a lot on your plate, then it can be handy just to sit at home on your sofa, plug in your computer and turn on Zoom or something, and you're able to talk directly to a hypnotist. Yeah.
So you don't have to like commute. And you can stay where you are. So like, can for example everyone be hypnotized? Is it for everyone?
Yes. In fact, we are all doing hypnosis already. That's a big secret. We're all doing hypnosis already. We just don't realize it, and we just don't call it hypnosis. Here's an example. If you say you have a habit, say you maybe eat too much chocolate, something like that, and there's a part of you that says to you, don't eat that. Don't eat that chocolate. You don't need it. There's another part that's saying to you, I really need that chocolate. I really want that chocolate. And the strange thing is, despite that, the emotion wins, and you're going to go for the chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're already doing it, and we're already becoming absorbed in this sort of way of thinking, focusing our idea around one particular idea, focusing our mind on one particular idea. And that is essentially hypnosis. If you watch a movie, if you watch a film, or you play a game, anything where your attention is really just drawn inwards is what we'd call a trance. We just don't see it like that. We don't realize that, but it influences you. If you watch a movie, you'll cry at all the right moments. You'll laugh at all the right moments. You'll feel scared. If you were ever a child, which I expect many people were, then you may have played pretend. When you play pretend for the first few minutes, you knew that you were pretending, but then something just clicked and you weren't pretending anymore. You know, you were a superhero, you were Action Man, you were a Barbie, whatever, princess. You believed you were that. And it's this ability for our brains to kind of put the critical thinking to one side and to accept another reality. And that's what we do in hypnosis. It's just, we show you how to do it better, how to do it easily, and so that you can take control. Because somebody who smokes, for example, with a smoking habit, they believe that they are stuck with this habit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're already hypnotized in a way.
Yeah.
It's almost like I de-hypnotize them and give them another kind of trance, more positive trance, which is useful for them. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So how can we, like when it comes to like expat or international experiences that we are having, like abroad, running businesses or living like in a different culture, and sometimes we can feel homesick, or we can have those challenges, even like communicating in another language, as we said at the beginning. So how can we benefit or use hypnosis in our expat lives?
Yeah, there is lots of ways. If we take, for example, relationships, some people can feel stuck in relationships, whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a personal relationship. And one of the great things we can do in hypnosis is it's really good for stuck states, because inside us, inside our brains, we have all the resources which we need. It's all of our experiences, it has all of our memories, and everything we've been told, everything we've seen is all there somewhere. It's just that we can't access it at once. We can't access, if you had to remember every single thing you've ever done, it would be a mess, it'd be totally crazy. So, as you're listening to me right now, you weren't aware of your telephone number until I asked you to think about it now, and it's there in your attention, it just comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of stuck states like relationships and business things and careers as well, sometimes when we're abroad, we can change careers, and we can question ourselves, well, where do I want to go? What am I doing this for? And hypnosis is used as an explorational tool to begin to dig into some of those unconscious resources and to come up with new ideas and to try them on and see how they go, see how they work, which is a really wonderful thing. And which is nice because the ideas are not coming from me, they're coming from you. They're coming from the person sitting in the chair, and it's their own ideas. And it's something that they cannot do wrong, because people don't like being told what to do. People hate being told what to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell them to do something you don't want to do, you're not going to do it. But when the thing comes from you, then you come up with that idea, then you're more likely to go ahead with it. In terms of homesickness and things like that, we can change how you perceive the situation as well. We can change your way of thinking about it. We can begin to open up the options. Because when we're under stress, our vision narrows. And what we're able to do in hypnosis is, again, dig into those unconscious resources and widen up the options. And to look at it differently. And to look at it, well, okay, yeah, I miss those people that I'm not usually with, but I can still be in contact with them. And actually, how many more people are going to meet? How many more friends am I going to make living here? And how am I going to use this experience so I can grow further, so I can bring these people together and make my existing relationships richer? Because that's also another thing which you learn through learning a language and through being abroad generally, is you get used to meeting new people. You get used to meeting people that you will know for a long time or for a short period of time, but who will share with you their stories. And so it's a learning process. So it can be used in a whole number of ways, but a lot as an explorational tool to bring up resources from the unconscious part of our mind, or we call it the subconscious or the unconscious mind.
Yes, I love this this idea, like, of using hypnosis as an exploration tool, so you can explore your options, your new ideas, opportunities, and also like seeing everything from a different, having like a new look on your life and experience.
Yeah. And people can become stuck in their lives and their situation, and it's through no fault of their own. These things just happen. And you could take the example of somebody who's very artistic. They can get a writer's block or an artistic block, and just be something in the way. And what we're able to do in hypnosis is go in and move things around, try on new changes to see how they work.
Yeah, so we can like see many benefits of hypnosis, but probably you have this in your experience. You meet with people who can be scared because they may think that you are going to control them, and they are going to do something they don't want to do, or there is this mystery around hypnosis. So how do you overcome this belief, or how can you work with someone who is scared of being hypnotized?
Yeah, excellent question. And it's often the first thing that people think of when they mention when they talk to me is, well, wait, you're not gonna bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken, am I? And it's completely understandable to have this kind of reaction, because it's what is presented in popular culture, what's presented on TV, what people see on movies, stage shows. And the key is context. What you see on a stage show most of the time is real. These are real experiences which people are having. They're having hallucinations. They're seeing stuff that isn't even there. They have their hands stuck to the table. All these kinds of crazy things. They're very much real. But they are context specific. The people on the stage know that they are part of a show. They are there to have a bit of fun. They're there to have a laugh. So that's one thing. In terms of the therapeutic context, now, of course, no one's going to start barking around their house whilst they're doing a therapeutic hypnosis session. Unless that's what it takes. But you're not losing control. In fact, it's the opposite. It's taking control. In fact, I often do demonstrations with people where their hand may become immobile, they won't be able to move it. But we're able to link that in to that problem they're having. Because I can say to them, well, all this time, you've believed that this was true, that you always had this particular issue, this particular habit. But you always believed you could move your hand. And now you can move it again. You change the thinking, and you can change how people react in their daily lives. So it's not a process of losing control. It really is taking back control, and you're going to remember as much from a normal conversation. It's not a total amnesia like many people imagine. In fact, it's very, very interactive, and there is nothing to be scared about in terms of doing a hypnosis session with somebody, because you're not going to lose control. In fact, it's the opposite.
Yeah, you are going like to gain control. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, and I say to people, well, how much control you have right now of that habit? And they say, well, I can't control it. Okay, well, would you like to have some control over that habit? Let me show you how.
Yeah, wonderful, Oliver. So tell us, what are your projects for the future? So are you staying in Brussels, in Belgium, or what are your plans? Like, professional, and also like personal plans.
Yeah. So for the moment, I'm going to be based in Brussels. We'll see. I'm open to move. But for the moment in Brussels, and my main mission is to make hypnosis more mainstream, and to kind of bring it out of these 19th century ideas of mind control, but rather taking control of your own mind. And I'm also going to be working on some courses as well, some self-help courses which people can use themselves, so to reduce anxiety and to stop smoking. But the main part is really making more people aware of this tool, this strange little tool which we call hypnosis, and to allow them to get some benefit from it. And I don't say it's a magical cure for everything. It's not a cure at all or a treatment. It's a tool. But it's a very useful tool, and it's something which I think everybody should have in their pocket. And I think would have a lot less, people would be in a better state if they could use these tools on themselves, which they can. Because my aim for people is to tell them, well, professionally speaking, I never want to speak to you again. I want them to be self-sufficient so they can change stuff themselves. So that's what I'm aiming at the moment, and we'll see how it goes.
Wonderful. So where can we find like more information about you? And I also know that you have a gift for our listeners. So tell us more about that.
That's right. So you can visit www.boosthypnosis.com, and on there you'll see everything about me. But if you go to boosthypnosis.com/expat-offer, then I have something very special for you, and that is you can enjoy a 1-hour discovery session. We'll do some power relaxation. We'll lift any stress that you've got at the moment and give you a little taste of all of this stuff is about. Because sometimes when going into this kind of this kind of way of resolving a problem, you can be a little bit unsure about what you're getting into and what it's all about. So this is a nice way in which to discover it and to have an experience, not just to close your eyes for an hour, but to really experience something and to get a taste of what we can do. And sometimes we can make a lot of changes in just that hour, which can be very, very profound. So if you go to boosthypnosis.com/expat-offer, you'll be able just to sign up for that and book a time with me, and we'll have a chat.
Great. I will put all the links with the show notes, so people can go and check it and book also 1-hour session with you. So thank you very much once again for sharing your experience and being with us today on the show.
Thank you very much. It's great fun.
Fantastic. And thank you very much to everyone who is listening. So please tell us, what are your learning points? What are your questions about hypnosis? What is your experience and insights that you have? Please leave your comments in the comment box, and I will be back with another episode soon. So thank you very much for listening, and bye.